It's real easy to succumb to the circumstances. It's real easy to thinking that if I step back, I lose the clarity, right? That's what you're thinking. Just like I step back now and we lose the clarity. But we have to realize with a step back, there's always a step forward if we decide to move forward. Just because you're not clear right now of where your next deal is coming from doesn't mean your next deal is not coming. All right, we're going to try this again. We had plenty of technical issues, but I think we've got them all worked out. And, these things happen. Our plan was to be here 10 a.m., like always. And it's now close to 25 minutes later, but we're here. And, it's today's topic is, paralyzed by success, right? Our turning points. And I think this is a good lesson and something we can all reflect on, when we're pumped up about certain things. I had it all planned out on how things usually work out. And when they don't, it can take us off our game, right? It triggers us for sometimes inaction because we had our mindset of how things were supposed to progress. I know what I'm supposed to do as soon as the camera is on. But when you come with all this energy towards something and then it doesn't work out, it's what we do afterwards, right? And getting our mindset back into the game. This happens in sports. This happens in real estate. This happens to small business owners. Is what do we do when things don't go out as planned? And this is something that happens oftentimes with buyers, right? When we get them under contract and the inspection didn't go through, or you find them the right house and you get beat out by another offer. And it could be devastating not only to you, it could be devastating to your clients, but it's being able to say, okay, there's still a game plan. There's still a target that I must hit. Mine is to complete this mindset mastery, to be able to give you the fuel and the fire for you to be able to proceed and move forward and do the things that you might have thought was an option, but now make it a priority to move forward. And, this is something that I saw in last week's Super Bowl, right? It's a turning point because when things don't go our way, it's real easy to concede to the circumstances. It's real easy to say, well, maybe next year or maybe next month. Maybe, some other time it'll work out my way. And I was watching this, kind of like this documentary from NFL Films called Turning Point. And it really ties in so much to real estate in general, to small business owners, that I wanted to bring this topic up. Because in this small documentary, it didn't focus on what happened, throughout the entire Super Bowl. What it did is it really just focused on one turning point in the Super Bowl. And it was in the third quarter. And the Kansas City Chiefs were down 10 points, 20-10. And in this particular focus, it showcased how things could have gone the other way. This really was the crossroads, right? For the Kansas City Chiefs to be able to persevere and win the Super Bowl, or concede to a very formidable opponent, which was the 49ers, who were up 20-10, who had a defense that is hard to penetrate, right? And here they are, third quarter, and they run a play on 2nd and 15. And they need 15 yards to be able to get that first down. And they're 2nd and 15. So Mahomes throws a ball to a receiver, and it looks like he got the first down. So they rush to the starting line, and it turns out that, well, they hit the ground first, right? The 49ers challenged that, and they hit the ground. So now they're down. Their back is against the wall. They have one more play because they're not going to run a fourth down. They still have a whole quarter left, so they don't want to risk it that much, right? But it is 3rd and 15. And this is where the entire film focused on Mahomes and focused on what happened next. You see, his back was against the wall. And what I loved about this is that he didn't ask to be saved. They were showcasing him, Mahomes, on the sideline, suggesting what to do next. That is the blood of a leader there. When things don't go your way, they just got, they got this notion that they got a first down only to be turned back. Not only do they have to go back to where they started from, but now they have one less play to try to achieve it. So it's 3rd down and 15, and he's on the sidelines. He's like, hey, how about we run this this play. I forgot the name of whatever play he suggested. And the coach calls up to the coaches up in the studio, and they're like, "Hey, how about we run this play?" And they're like, it's risky because this particular play requires him to go back a few more yards to buy time. The 49ers are, again, they're aggressive. They have one of the best pass rushers in Bosa to go in and try to sack the quarterback. So they only have a limited amount of time. And this play in particular means that Mahomes is going to have to hold to the ball about 4 to 5 seconds. That seems like a long time. That is a long time when it comes to professional sports. So he suggested it. And what I loved about it is that he believed in himself. He believed in his teammates. He called his teammate over and he says, "You just be in the spot you need to be, and I'll get you the ball." So they run this play. And Mahomes had to run back 15 yards from the starting point to buy time. 15 yards. And he ends up launching this ball 57 yards. 57 yards to his waiting receiver. Not only did they get the first down, but it turned the momentum of the entire game. The momentum shifted. It was now his. The confidence went through the roof. And what I got from this is that we don't allow ourselves to go back a few steps because we think we're losing at that point. Not realizing we're just stepping back to see a new perspective, to be able to allow time to take its course. He just needed 1 or 2 more seconds. Maybe you just need 1 or 2 more weeks before things start changing. We're about 4 weeks removed from our sales meeting, our Ignite event. And I can't tell you how many people walked up to me and said, "Hey, Z, this is the year. I saw myself on stage. I know exactly what I need to do. I know how I'm going to sell the 10 million. I know how I'm going to sell the 20 million. But then what ends up happening? You get called back and you lose that momentum. Instead of saying, "What do I need to do next?" Many of us are starting to look for a savior. And I can't tell you that this happens often. So much so, where people start questioning themselves, not realizing that in order to get to 10 million starts with getting your first million. But when we don't get the results that we want after setting this high goal, instead of taking it upon ourselves and saying, "I got this. How about we do this play, coach?" We revert back to our lowest form and habit and say, "What should I do next? Somebody needs to save me. This other brokerage can save me. This team, they promise leads. They can save me." A true leader asks, "What can I do next? What will I do next?" Not ask for permission, but they simply ask themselves for a better perspective. So we have to look back at our own ambitions and our own goals. And just because things didn't turn out the last 3 weeks since our meeting, it doesn't mean it's not going to turn out. Your job is to stay consistent with what works. You need to be able to trust yourself. You need to be able to trust the process. But when you fail to do that, you'll succumb to the thoughts of somebody else has it figured out for me. And we lose focus. And we focus on others on how they can figure it out for us. It's real easy to succumb to the circumstances. It's real easy to thinking that if I step back, I lose the clarity, right? That's what you're thinking. Just like I step back now and we lose the clarity. But we have to realize with a step back, there's always a step forward if we decide to move forward. Just because you're not clear right now of where your next deal is coming from doesn't mean your next deal is not coming. And I understand the intensity, the darkness of debt. The pressure is intense. I understand that. I understand what it feels where nothing seems to be working out. Deals are falling through. To feel desperate. I understand all those things. But it's not meant for you to quit. It's meant for you to focus on what you must do today. And just like those goals and ambitions you had at the Ignite event, they must remain with you. Understand, with any good target, the path that we set forth sometimes isn't the path that's going to get us there. But we have to make those mistakes. We have to make the left in order to realize I need to make a right and then a left again. But this will only come to you when you stay consistent with the work, when you trust the process. What I loved about Mahomes is he never lost faith in himself. This 24-year-old kid, his mental capacity is through the roof. I'm impressed. This dude knows how to persevere. He's proven it because he trusts himself. He could have lost faith. 20-10 against one of the best defenses in the NFL. In the third quarter, of course. Who wouldn't think the worst? And the point is to allow yourself to be able to see a solution, to see a perspective shift and a change. You may not be able to see yourself out of debt right now. You may not be able to see your next transaction and where it's coming from. From where you're at, it's impossible to see. But what I want you to consider is if you continue to remain there, stuck, you will never get that clarity. Your point is to know that although it is dark, although you don't know where to step next, you're moving forward. And maybe 2 steps forward will give you an entire different perspective on what to do next. That's where a real producer comes from. Being able to navigate through what they can't see. Because they trust themselves. They walk through blindly sometimes, but they trust themselves. They continue to make the deposits that have gotten them to the success where they're at now and understand that those deposits will continue to get them further and further in life. I put up a post today, a simple post, and I had my green smoothie in my hand. I took a picture in my car. And I said, 6 years with this green smoothie. Does it make me healthier? Shit, I don't know. I don't know if that one thing alone is giving me the vitality that I have right now and the energy to continue to move forward. I really don't know. But I'll tell you one thing I do know. I'm consistent. And that consistency bleeds in every aspect of my life. And although I can't see what the next steps are oftentimes, I trust myself to continue to move forward regardless if it's a mistake or not. Because even in mistakes, I realize there's a big lesson for me. Something that allows me to pivot. Something that allows me to take a step back and see a different perspective. And this consistency is what has built my life, that I enjoy living. I enjoy it. It's an amazing process, but it didn't happen overnight. And I want you to consider that. Just because your goals were massive doesn't mean someone's going to save you or hand it to you. You can't avoid the pains. And you can't share the pains. I'm going to tell you that right now. You cannot share your pains. You need to be able to live in it and work through it and power through it because it is yours and yours alone. The results of your action will be rewarded if you continue the process. So many times we start feeling that pinch and we don't want to increase the pain, so we stop. Then we go another direction until we feel that pinch again. that slight pain? What happens if you continue to push through it? You build a capacity for it. And you can take on more. Who I am today from the guy that started 6 years ago with my green smoothies. This is a coffee. I already drank my green smoothie, but for who I am today from who I was 6 years ago is that I could tolerate more. I can overcome more. I'm wiser, stronger, smarter because of the pains. Not because everything was rainbows and sunshines the entire way. You don't learn that way. We learn through the pains. And as opposed to really embracing that, we're trying to avoid it. And we try to avoid it by having someone else save us. My question to you is, what happened to the person I saw 3 weeks ago? Why did you lose faith in that person? Because that person at our meeting had everything figured out. And they knew it was only a matter of time. And just because things didn't progress the way we wanted, all of a sudden we can't figure it out. All of a sudden someone is smarter than us to figure it out for us. I need you to lean in right now and understand that whatever circumstances you're in right now is because of the wake of who you were and the actions you took or decided not to take 3 to 4 months ago. But it doesn't mean it's always going to be that way if you start doing the right things today. But it takes time. It's a conditioning process. And with that, it takes trusting the process, which means you got to trust yourself. And I know when we don't have a track record of making the best decisions ever, it's harder to trust ourselves when the track record isn't there. But what if you were to change the story? What if you were to change the narrative of what it means to be you powerfully each and every day? Where you can suggest a play in the biggest game of your life. And it truly is about changing the narrative. I refuse to be told who I was going to become, how far I can get in life. Only I can keep myself from achieving the things that I see in my dreams. And my dreams are big. And right now we're facing some challenges that I'm like, oh shit. But that doesn't mean I get paralyzed by the success. That vision that you had, don't get paralyzed by it. That $10, $15 million you wanted to sell this year, it's a big number, but it does not mean you get paralyzed by it. Your entire dynamic can shift on a turning point. Let's wait for that turning point where you can completely dominate the rest of the game, like the Kansas City Chiefs did, right? In Super Bowl, what is that, 50-something? There was a turning point, but they never deviated from their game plan. You can't deviate from your marketing. You can't deviate from shining that spotlight on yourself. That's how you're going to separate yourselves from 48,000 licensed agents. 48,000. I kept on repeating this number, 40,000. 48,000 agents. The competition is stiff, but the rewards are immense. A couple deals can shift the paradigm of your business. That is the turning point right there that you need. But if all your focus is on the debt, if all your focus is on not being able to get your buyer's contract accepted, If that's where your focus is, you're going to get more of that. Your job is to continue to move. You lost a deal for your buyer, find another. You couldn't secure that listing, find another. No one's raising their hand to get pre-qualified, find another. Stay consistent and continue to move forward. But there's lessons all around us. But I need you to take a moment, a brief moment, and trust yourself. And don't become paralyzed by who you want to be in 11 months, in 10 months. Understand that if you're pushing for that $10 million mark or that $5 million mark, and if you've never hit it before in your life, that person is greater than who you are today. Understand that there's a process there of 300 plus days to get there. And just because you don't have it figured out right now doesn't mean 300 days from now you will not be able to figure it out. Your job is to continue to take those steps and not take a step to the side. That right there is what will paralyze you. Not taking a step at all will keep you there. Trust yourself. Move forward and go back to the Ignite event. That person right there that saw themselves there, that person that said, I will get the 10 million, the 15 million, the 5 million. That's the person you need to become. No one else is going to get you there, at least not permanently, if you don't do it yourself. So, to end this, I'm going to tell you this. Don't get swept up by the thoughts that our mind sometimes puts upon us. The thoughts of negativity. You need to look past that and realize that you have everything with you now to find your next transactions, to fix your marriage, to fix your health. This is it right here. Take a stand. I want to thank all of you for being patient with us as we took 15 yards back in order to propel forward. And I hope you got the insights today that I did, because I know exactly what I need to do. It's the same things I've been doing every single day. I trust myself and I take the small, what almost seems meaningless steps every day. And your life too will shift. I never thought I'd be in a place where my life actually works. Every aspect of it. And it fuels that fire that burns deep within me, and it feels so good, and I want you to be there. And if you're there, I want you to share it. Take it upon yourself and share that for others to see, for others to hear. Ignite their fires by living powerfully on who you are. So I'm not sure if we can actually read any comments. And we're still continuing to feel these technical issues. But please take a moment, and I'll see if I can go onto my phone. It seems to be very consistent here. If there's any comments, any feedback that you want to provide, I need to hear that. Oh, here we are. All right. And I'll start with Michelle Cordova. We are our worst enemies. Stopping the self-doubt and remember who you are. What I know is who I was last year cannot take me where I'm going. It is a constant cycle every single day. Az and Carla are not going to call me every day to motivate me. That's up to me. My job is to create the environment in order for you to thrive. And in those moments, it's just a simple conversation, right? That can shift our trajectory. You're not here because you need to be saved. I don't hire my coaches to be saved. I sometimes just need to be able to see something a little different, to be reminded of the things I already know, because I trust myself. And we got major players here, just like Michelle, because she trusts herself and just needs to be reminded. It's like, oh shit, it's on me. What am I not doing? What do I need to incorporate? What did I stop doing? pivot, recalibrate, recommit. Such a great point, Michelle. Thank you for that. Cindy, so true. We need to talk and work in faith. Just because we can't see what's around the corner doesn't mean there isn't a corner to turn. The reason it seems so dark oftentimes is because that's all we're focused on. But your next deal is right around the corner. It really is. The debt is going to be erased around the corner. But our job is to continue to move forward. Such a great point, Cindy. This is such a powerful message. It resonates with where I am in my journey. And all I can do now is focus on remaining consistent and doing more. It's hard. And some people call it, we just can't process. And we think as humans, we can see the end result, right? We can see where we need to go. But oftentimes it's that faith in ourselves, that our life can completely shift in a turn of a dime. It can. But we can't see that dime until we keep going. Yeah, Jasenia, 48,000. I saw those numbers last week, and I'm just surprised by those numbers too. In this market, you need to understand that lots of offers in our typical price range will not be accepted. Make sure you set that stage with your buyer and keep fighting for them. You can use this as a positive that you are going to battle for them, which works for retention. Setting them up, setting the right framework. Lonnie, I see that you just joined, had a couple deals just accepted. And again, when we face these challenges, we're like, are we ever going to get our clients under contract? Cindy, I needed this today. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining me. And again, I want to thank you for joining me on this late broadcast of Mindset Mastery. Once I dropped my self-doubt and kept pushing because of AZ's coaching, my business grew and I reached a goal I set 16 years ago last year. That is unbelievable, Jason. Congratulations. This was tight. I definitely needed this to help with grounding myself to move forward. Thank you, AZ. Made a big personal, professional decision today. This came at the best moment in this specific moment in my life. It's amazing what we can create when we build that trust in ourselves. And I'm not asking you to have faith in a higher power. I'm asking you to have faith in yourself. And the only way to build that confidence and that trust in yourself is to just stick with the game plan of what must happen today. And this is my invitation to you, that if you haven't signed up for our 12-week targets book, I'm going to showcase to you step by step on how I was able to build a life of consistency. I'm not saying I've reached the pinnacle of all success by any means. But when it comes to a combination of what my true purpose is, living a life on purpose, my connection with my family, my health, I feel like I'm elite. And we can all become that. Letting go of the dysfunctional behaviors that will deplete that. I'm setting the groundwork, the foundation for long-term success. So let's do this together. Guys, I want to thank you again for joining me for another episode of Mindset Mastery. And I will talk to you soon. Have a great day, everyone. Bye now.